Okay, this report continues from part one and it commences at the 1440 turn. Now, at the start of this turn, the French advance up the Brussels-Charleroi road across a broad frontage. In the west, towards the bottom of these images, Foy leads the 9th Division into the Bois de Bossu against the last remnants of Dutch, Belgian and Nassau forces. Slightly east of this, Jerome Bonaparte's 6th Division skirts the woods, and they begin to move up and over that stream. While further to the east, towards the top of these images, Bachelot's 5th Division prepares to cross the stream near the Etang Maternelle, or the Maternity Pond. Now, for the most part, the initial French advance is relatively cautious. Foy's men in the west and Bachelot's men in the east both move up to exchange fire with those Allied forces. Jerome Bonaparte's men lead an assault on the 1st 95th Foot in an attempt to condense the centre of those Allied forces. And further east, the French finally commence their assault on Gemiancourt, which has really been blocking their progress north. With the French driving the bulk of their forces through this gap between the Etang Maternelle and the Bois de Bossu, de Paris decides to lead his cavalry around the pond to the east in an attempt to threaten the Allied flank and cut that Nivelles-Namur road in the east. But Picton quickly responds to this by sending his own cavalry east with some infantry and artillery support, and this is the advance guard of the Brunswick contingent. The French assault on Gemiancourt was a resounding success, and they eliminate the defenders, but further west, Jerome's men falter against stiff resistance. Nonetheless, the French begin to pour through those woods, the Bois de Bossu, and Picton and the Prince of Orange are going to have to respond to this assault on their relatively weak right or western flank pretty quickly. Now, at 3 p.m, the French begin to ramp up their assaults. In the east, Bachelot's men clear out the skirmishers and they continue their march towards the crossroads. In the west, Foy continues his strong advance through the woods, while in the centre, Jerome launches another assault on the Allied lines. Now, despite pretty heavy French assaults, the Allies are responding reasonably well to these attacks, but there is pressure all throughout the area, and their main concern is being able to respond to all these French assaults at once. Ney is coordinating these attacks and putting pressure in the east, the centre and the west, and the Allies just don't have the forces to keep the French back. An exchange of fire in the centre actually creates a small grass fire, which forces the British back away from that stream. But this isn't such a bad outcome, as it will keep the French away from this area and obscure French artillery fire. In effect, it blocks out that entire area and will force the French to go around. Now, during the 1520 turn, the French launch assaults on both flanks of the Allied line, Jerome Bonaparte leading the 6th Division and facing off against a strong Allied defensive line and smoke, decides to shift his men to the east. Now, he shifts them around behind Bachelot's men, and the plan here is that they can follow up from Bachelot's 5th Division assault, or whatever happens, he can follow up. Now, those French assaults meet with very mixed success. They certainly rout some of the defenders, the British defenders from the 9th Brigade, but further to the west, towards the centre of the Allied line, other men from the 9th Brigade hold firm, and they force Bachelot's French attackers to rout. In the Bois de Bossu, further to the west, the French clear out some British skirmishers and they again rout the Nassau defenders. Now, they're really devastated, that combined Dutch, Belgian and Nassau force, and in doing so, they've now opened up a path on the west side of the woods. So in the 1540 turn, the French quickly move through the Bois de Bossu and into the open fields beyond. Now, Bachelot's division in the centre is really frozen by a lack of command. Bachelot has been forced to pull back and try to rally some of his routed units. And so, with his division frozen, Jerome Bonaparte tries to move his 6th Division men up and around to their east. The Brunswickers have pulled back to the west a little more to close a gap and remain in touch with the Allied line, and this opens up a bit of space in that eastern section of the Nivelles-Namur road. The French make an assault in the centre there and another assault on the remaining Nassau regiment in the far west of the Bois de Bossu, really just cleaning up that area. The Allies respond by pulling back way towards that road, and they form a rough, you can see here, a horseshoe-shaped defence around the Quatre Bras. They don't have the forces quite yet to defend both sides of that Nivelles-Namur road, so they focus on the vital crossroads. At the same time, reinforcements are arriving in strength, so the tide may be about to turn in the Allies' favour. In a desperate move, the Dutch-Belgian light cavalry in the centre here charge at some of Bachelot's disordered formations, forcing them to rout, and this exposes that exhausted cavalry to a counterattack. But more importantly, that attack will buy the Allies some precious time to bring up their infantry reinforcements and place those reinforcements on the east-west Nivelles-Namur road. Over in the west, Hanoverians take up vital positions on the road to block the French advance. The Allies, again, the Dutch and Sauer in particular, are really beaten up at this stage. The 1st and 2nd Brigade are almost entirely wiped out, but they have managed to slow down the French sufficiently, perhaps, to allow those larger reinforcements to arrive. And now it looks like the battle may be beginning to balance out, and the French are in for more of a challenge if they want to continue their advance.